Hello, good morning, and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. Almost said Dawn Busters. Mid-morning taste challenge is daylight now. We started a little later for Dawn Busters, which was good because then we didn't have to rush. I went walking after, um, which was daylight, wasn't as cold, and so things worked out fine. I think when daylight savings time comes around, I might start Dawn Busters after the news, but it's good to have a hard stop. Being pressed for 6 o'clock a.m. Plus, it's no big deal. But the long videos are over for the most part. People ask me, and this will be no more than 30 minutes. People ask me over the years, 10 years, could you do a video about what you're doing in your life and whatnot? And I said I could, but it seemed like it would be boring to me. Here's some hog head cheese from Wayne Jacobs Smokehouse. It's smoked hog head cheese made at their store. It's the spicy, and I have some Valentina extra hot sauce from, what is it, Guadalajara, Mexico. All right. In a few minutes, people are going to say you're coughing and sneezing. A, it's wintertime. B, it's damp. C, it's cold. D, it's windy. And E, that's hot and peppery. So consider what I'm doing here. Drewski Brewski, Ron, you're a riot. Yeah, a riot. I'm like the riot. Mm. And remember, you could have joined all my hangouts, but remember the problem? I do. Don't say it's private. How was it private? Everybody saw it. You say, well, you deleted it. I know, I didn't want them to see it anymore. You say that was then, this is now. Good. But this is not going to be now unless then went away. What you munching on, Ron? Okay, so watch the playback. It's a smoked hog's head cheese. So here's the taste challenge today. But real fast, the point, people said in 2010, 11, 12, up to this year, why don't you make a video about your life? I said, it's very boring. I live a mundane life. There's not a lot of excitement to me. Driving to Illinois or go and watch the White Sox is mundane. Y'all tell me how boring baseball is. Major League. I go to the games. I've been to every major league stadium in existence and beforehand since 2000. Can't go through that right now. I said, I watch the games, but I don't watch videos about the games. So I don't like to make videos that I wouldn't watch. Little short 30-second vacation clips. I will watch those sometimes. You know, I make them sometimes and people watch them. They seem more fascinated than I believe they would be. People say, here's my vlog. I never watch it. It's nothing personal. It's simply, I'm not interested in it because I got so many beer reviews to watch. And I'm backlogged since yesterday morning. So I'm going to catch up today. I was vexed the last week because people were calling me off the hook about various issues of the day and the past. And they want immediate answers. And I'm not on smartphone, and I only get on the internet when I want to check it out. And so my phone is not blowing up all the time with that. I'll receive texts from various people, and I tell them, if I get the text and I don't respond immediately, it's not that I'm ignoring it. I will respond in a timely manner. It just may be in a little while, like within the next 24 hours or probably in the next hour. And they're starting to understand. Okay. So if I say later, that doesn't mean blow off. I don't have time for you. It means I'm going to get to you later. Or busy means I'm busy, but I'm going to get to you. I can't immediately respond. So you're thinking about it. So remember back before they had smartphones and you would call somebody's house and they weren't there. You just leave a message on their answer machine. I'm assuming they had one. I remember that. And then Before that, they had just pay phones and phones. You wouldn't get all worried about it. You just say, well, they're busy or something. They in the backyard, they couldn't get to the phone. They didn't have their phone in their pocket. Now people call, it's like you're reaching for your phone. And before you can get it, they hang up, they don't leave a message. I'm a nice person, so I say I don't want them to think I'm being rude. But my father says, just don't respond because what are you dealing with? I said, you get upset when I don't immediately answer. He said, I know, because I figure you have the phone close to you. I said, why you didn't answer real fast? I dropped it. So you get people the benefit of the doubt. I give him the benefit of the doubt. Now he gives me the benefit of the doubt. It's just, then you'll hear later. Okay, 2 years ago, he didn't answer the phone when I got home from work because he always expects me to call at the same time. And I tell him around the same time. No answer. I didn't panic, but I thought it's strange, you know. And then I got this text from his wife with a photo of an arm with a line on it in blood with bandages. And I was like, why would somebody send that? He fell down. They tell you when you're old, I'm not old, I'm middle-aged. When you're old, if you want to live a long time, don't fall. He stumbled and he was trying to help these people with the shades. And we have bad skin, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It cuts real easy. If you get cut like a bruise, I'm going to get 20 stitches or whatever. I tried to tell people that I thought I was kidding. A lot of people think I'm kidding. That's why I still have that scar. I hit something and it cut me in a V shape and I had to get 10 stitches, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. I went to the hospital and I told the doctor I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. The nurses and assistant doctor said, we know about that. We hear about it all the time. It's common, but people don't think it is. I said, when I went to high school, people thought you could catch it. All right, another story. That's why the skin stretches like a rubber band. See? The elastic band, that's okay. You don't know it if you don't see it. Doesn't bleed unusually heavily. Actually, doesn't really bleed more than anybody else. It just cuts easy. It's like having skin made out of tissue paper. Inconvenient, painful. Get it now? So I didn't think people would be interested in that or looking at. I'll show the can collection and stuff from time to time, comic books, but I just thought, well, I don't look at that. I don't need to see somebody unwrapping beer that somebody sent them, beers I've never heard of, or vacation photos that people insist that you see when you go to their house. And then when you try to show them yours, they'll never look. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Well, you demand that I look at yours. You could have showed me one and then the next day one, but you wanted to show me 131, like on Facebook. Look at my 132 vacation photos. I said, well, why don't you just post 2 a day? And then in 60, was it 60, 100, 150, 65, 66. In 66 days, people could look at all the photos. No, I'm in a rush. And that was my problem with cell phones. Say, y'all are all in a rush. I go to football games, baseball games, nobody's watching the game. It's oddly quiet here. Then I realized, I told my father, look around. He said, I know they're all on their phones. Why pay money to come to a game and watch the phone? I said, I don't get it. I said, well, we'll cheer. They'll think, you're bothering me. You're making noise at this football game. I'm trying to look at my phone. All right. So that's why I never made the personal information videos, because I just figured it'd be boring, you know. People kept asking, and I said, well, maybe. And somebody said, why you didn't answer my comment for 7 years? I said, there's a glitch, and they haven't shown me your comment for 7 years. If I don't see the comment, I cannot answer. And you could have just asked me, like somebody said, hi, it took you 7 years. Panico said, it took you 7 years to answer. I said, I never saw the comment for 7 years. There's like 1,000 comments that I have not answered because I never saw them. It was a glitch. Remember back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, where you wouldn't see half the comments? Then they reformatted it and they lost them. Then they weren't really lost. So now it'll say unanswered comments an hour ago, so on, 2 days ago. It won't be my case because I answered them all yesterday morning. And then I said 7 years ago. That's the story there. So Sunday, I said, I'm going to make a video a little bit about my life and explain what's been going on. And then yesterday, this video is for Wednesday. This is Wednesday's challenge. And then people started telling me, why are you telling me about your life? I said, well, not you in particular, but people asked. And then they said, well, who said I wanted to hear that? I said, there's like, 20,000 viewers sometimes for each video, and some want to see it and some don't. What do I do when I'm watching somebody's channel and I don't want to see their video? I get upset. I don't watch it. I never watched Golden Girls. Why not? I was hostile to it. Not particularly. I wasn't interested in it. Watch it. I'm watching football, whatever. Now, so that's the answer. And I said, well, just forget it. No. If I know somebody likes the Dallas Cowboys, I can't watch their video reviews. I said, what if they dislike the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, I'll watch them. I said, what if they're like me and they're indifferent to the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, I don't know. I got to think about it. All right. Inver House, 1961. StreamYard was vexing my nerves because it's nice because you can post the comments, but then people will say, why you didn't post the comments? Why you didn't post the comments? I said, well, I'm busy and nobody's helping me moderate. They want to be a moderator for an honorary title, not to actually moderate. So I'm stuck like that. So not to mention that they could go back and just look at the comments later. Like with this, they're listed. I don't block them necessarily unless you say ugly comment. So there's Inver House. Imported Inver House. Daniel Newman's been saying Ivor House. Daniel Newman, Ivor House, Ivor House. I said, Daniel, it's not Ivor House because it's I-N, like I went inside. Ver House. Green Plaid. There's Green Plaid, Scottish. Unassuming Scotch. I bought this liter bottle for $10.99, $11.99 at Dorignacs. Only place I've ever seen it around here. I didn't think it was going to be that great. I just figured I never had it. What's the hurt? Nobody sells it too much. I think Total Wine has it now here because they open here. So I said, I read about it, couldn't find much information. I saw a handful of video reviews. People said, oh, it's sort of ordinary. And Daniel thought it was terrible. I thought, well, he has his opinion. Makes sense. I'm not going to cut him off or shut him down because he doesn't agree with me. You know what I mean? So this is aged 3 years, 1961 intro, bottled in Chicago, Illinois by Barton Imports, just like Highland Mist. That was a 750 I got for $6.49. This is a 1,000 liter milliliter that I got for $11.99. So it's fine, but basic, mixable, not remarkable, not terrible, but expected because you say, well, what about 100 Pipers? That was not expected. No, when I bought it for $8.99, I expected it to be very bland and junky, and it turned out to be very great and nice. So I figured this was unexpected. When I eat spicy food with pepper on it, I expect to cough and sneeze, and then it goes away. Yep, that'll happen. It happened yesterday. So there's Chivas Mizunara, aquamarine label gold. Mizunara means water oak. So they're saying water oak, water, aqua, marine, next to Asia, Japan, island country. November 5th, 2018, introduced in 2014, but expanded later. So this is probably the first expansion into the United States. And it's probably going to get discontinued because it's a temporary thing, but it may not be, you see. But I got my bottle. I'm sure I'm not going to buy more of it. Inver House. Chivas. What you munching on? Okay, you've been to every Major League Baseball stadium in the U.S. and Canada? Yes. not everyone that used to exist. I wasn't at Ebbets Field because it was torn down in 1960. But you know what I'm saying? Anyone that was around from 2000. You say, not Arlington. Yeah, I know it wasn't open last year because of something. I was going to go. I was going to go to Spain last year. You can't go to Spain because of something. I said, that's too bad because I always wanted to go. But I say wanted to go, didn't need to go. Just, wanted to go. So I could tell people, I've been to Spain. I've been to Africa, Spanish Africa, take the ferry. Want, not a need. I've been to 48 states. Didn't need to go. Well, one time I had to go help my sister move in Florida. Needed to do that. Just wanted to. Why not Alaska and Hawaii? I ain't got to it yet. Do you need to do it? No, I'd like to. Andouille sausage with hot sauce is delicious. You got that right. I've been to every AT&T in Park in San Francisco. Well, they changed the name a lot. Yes, 3 games in a row. The Rangers, 2006. Not everyone has to agree with everything 100%. That's why we have a democracy, or do we? That's why we are told we have a democracy. As my video, people said it was a rant. I said it was just me talking. I had to go fast. 2 hours could turn into 10 hours. And the Saints game was coming up at 3:40. I kept looking at the clock. 3:40. 3:40 is coming. Of course, I should have just stayed on because the game was rotten, mostly. But we won. So, but if your team wins and it's a blowout, you say it's a great game. If your team loses and it's a blowout, you say that's terrible. All right. Chivas, you go over there. You're about to be retired for the time being because we got a very exciting scotch coming in. And then we're going to go on to brandy and rum. Dark chestnut, might be colored with caramel. This will be lighter. It's not because of the age, it's just the coloring. Now, would a scotch get this yellow after 3 years? Gold. I guess so, because it's a used barrel and it's clear when they put it in the barrel, but it could be added a little color added. It's not, unusual. They all look like that. We want freedom. Constitutional republic is what we live here in the USA. I used to try to correct people in a like slightly altered sense. I'll say it's a constitutional federal republic, which is another topic, because I notice most of the people I talk to don't understand federalism, but they hadn't read the Federalist Papers. Japanese oak is rare to find in blended whiskey. Yes. Here's the thing. They say a percentage of it is finished in Mizunara oak, Japanese water oak. What percentage? I'm figuring 2 or 3%. But it's not a lot because it says on the website in a disclaimer, a percentage, small percentage. They don't say small, but you would assume that. Because if it was large, they would tell you, right? There's no age statement, so it could be very young whiskeys blended with very old. But we know none of the whiskeys are younger than 3 years. That's the minimum. If it wouldn't matter if it was 100 years, though, because if you put 1 3-year whiskey in it, it's not a 97-year-old whiskey. It's a 3-year-old. You got to go with the youngest age. So that kind of, by deduction, you can figure it out, that it's not necessarily real old, but it sure isn't real young. We don't hope. No younger than 3. All right. FD, WWF, we want freedom. All right. Howling Madness. How common is it for distillers to add caramel or other artificial colorings to whiskey? If you're not dealing with bourbon, it's extremely common. In bourbon, straight bourbon, I mean, can't have any coloring or flavoring added. And it has to be at least 51% corn. The other grains don't matter. They could be any grain. If it's grain neutral spirits, then it's still bourbon, but it's blended bourbon. And it can have coloring added. Now, if you were to age those grain spirits for at least 2 years in new oak barrels, then blend it with the bourbon, it would be straight bourbon because you'd be blending bourbon straight with bourbon straight. It sounds complicated, but it isn't really. All right. It's just complicated to try to explain it in 5 minutes. Like somebody wanted me to explain something, I think yesterday, a long story, but in 5 minutes. I say I cannot do that. I can only summarize it, which will leave out pertinent details about not following procedure, not responding to the situation at hand, and refusal to listen, which made me look like I was crazy, but I was dealing with an emergency. Somebody wanted me to tell him, why are you walking fast? I didn't have time to say rice is pouring onto the floor. Someone's going to slip on it. It's like we hit an iceberg. Press that emergency button. And you say, why should I press it? I'd say, just press it, please. Do you think they should have used red for the emergency button? You know, I cannot answer these questions right now. Good morning, Ronald. Great to catch a live stream, says Daryl. The New York Mets, FD, are making some big noise. Well, they always do. How common is it? Oh, yeah. All right. We'll get back to the comments after we do the challenge now. I told you 30 minutes and the long videos are over. I explained myself. People may not like it or understand it, but they could ask me privately, and I'd say, well, here's the answer. Facebook, alcohol eggs, just I'll say, oh, okay. If it's reasonable, not, you know, I'm angry and I'll show you whatever. Just, we'll talk. All right. I don't tell other people how to do video reviews. I asked a video reviewer in 2011, I said, you got any advice? He said, one thing is to never put the score in the description because they'll just look at the score and won't watch. Just let them hear the score at the end, but don't forget to give the score. And I noticed that's a good, I adopted that practice, and sometimes you forget if you're distracted, but I noticed that some people mumble the score. Well, this beer's really good. I'm getting 84 and they go on. Then you got to go back and watch. What was it again? I'll give it, be honest. And you notice in my videos, John and Neely and etc. John and Neely would say, this is a very good, although not excellent beer. I give it a B plus, an 88 out of 100. So as we finish now, it is an 88 out of 100, a B plus. Thank you. And he goes on, boys and girls. He says, boys and girls. So I don't ever have to wonder what was his score, because if I miss it by getting a phone call or say what, I can go right back to the end and say, oh, 88. And then, of course, I'll listen to his videos constantly. Say, or watch him, but mostly listen, but like people do here with a radio show. So when we post the videos on alcohol eggs, we don't say, here's my score. If they say, what was it? Just watch. Now, if it's a photo, here's this scotch. I'll say, what was the score? It's not a rule in the group. There's nowhere in the group does it say you must post a score. I just say, here's the score parameters. And now I ask the people, what is the score for that? And sometimes, usually they'll say, well, it's an A minus. I'll put the numbers, but I'll say, okay, means excellent. And then somebody told me, is that a rule? So I didn't say it was a rule. I was just saying, I was just curious what the score was. I don't know if you liked it or not. You just put, here's a photo of a whiskey or a beer. Not remarkable. Not remarkable. And I'm going to cover the last comments in the last 2 minutes or so. So cereal grain, like a box cereal with no sugar added, more or less, and kind of bland. Similar price, but that's for me. You can't get Chivas Mizunara for 48, for $17.99. You're gonna pay 48 to 54. I'm sorry. Unless you drive down here, go to Savannah Discount and pay $18.99 this year. They got any left, but who's going to do that? I told somebody, if you're passing through, though, go over there and stop. Wow, they say, wow. Well, I went to Georgia, first time John and Neely said, let's go stop by World of Beverage. I was tired, and I said, nah, but he insisted. And then I was so glad because I said, look at this place. I ain't tired now. Got my second win. He said, I told you. This smells like cereal grain. This does too, but, what did I say? With a honey top white bread crust. There's the difference. Is it a great difference? No, but it is a difference. Is it going to be, let's see, 12 times 4 is 48. 3 times amount difference. 4 times 12, I mean. 4 times. No, no. It might be $5 difference. $5. Cereal. Oh, like cornflakes. I was going to say Cheerios, but I know that's made out of oats. So I think no, just bland out. Daniel has a right to his opinion, and I didn't care if he didn't like Inver House or not. I cared as much to watch it because I'm interested in his opinion, but I didn't get up. What I mean is I didn't get like disturbed that he didn't like it. I said, well, I liked it. He said, well, I didn't. I said, well, okay. Inver House, Mizunara, Chivas Mizunara. That's why I went in a rush, because I knew I was going to get it. I was going to get it in a snap. Now, Chivas Mizunara. C. 4 minutes left. Yo-hoo, do you track all the scoring? That would be a good idea for a website. No, I don't. I don't, because people have to post photos. Well, they don't have to. They could just say, I drank this beer and I gave it a B, the name of it. But nobody's going to look at that. They'll just say, oh, I've never heard of that. But if you put an interesting photo, people might say, well, I think I had that beer. What is it? Oh, it's this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that. And you get a few hostile people that join and they'll say, wow, I hate that beer. So this really isn't the group for that. Alcoholics is not about announcing to the world that you hate that beer. It's really just about having a good time, laid back. And here's what I like. And Thomas Horsley will say, well, what y'all think about this beer? And I'll say, well, it's fine. And then somebody said, well, why you got to ask that question? I said, why are you worrying about it? You ever heard of just moving on? No, you never heard of that. If I say the Grateful Dead, I got 20 people run up and say, I don't like them. I say, I didn't think that you did, nor was I even interested if you did. I didn't ask you the question. Okay. Now, other people will bring up a band and I'll say, I have that album. Period. Just let them know I'm watching. When I say something on Alcoholics, I'd like to try that. You ever notice that usually it's because somebody made a post and no one responded or just put a like? And to me, that's perfunctory. That you're just giving them a like to placate them, or maybe you like it. I just don't want people to feel that way. So I always say, I would like to try that. And I'm not joking. I'm serious. I would like to try it, or I've had it, or that looks interesting. I don't play games on Alcoholics. I'm sincere. I'd like to try it. I've heard that song before in Rock and Roll Club and so on. Now, when you ask me your opinion of it, that's a different story, because I may or may not say things you like. But I'm not going to be hostile. I'm not going to say it was garbage. I might just say it didn't appeal to me. It just simply didn't appeal to me. Okay. Chivas Mizunara, C, clearly Chivas. This was less of a challenge than I thought. Highland Miss was really a challenge. So you think you know, but you don't know it, but you can know. I'm always willing to learn. Like every day of my life, I figure you can learn something. You say, you didn't say that 10 years ago. I know, I hadn't learned that yet. All right. Now, would I pay $17.99 for Chivas Mizunara as opposed to $11.99 for even more Inver House? Yes, obviously, because it's a better product. It's a good trade-off. You pay more, but you get less volume, but you get way more taste. Inver House, you pay less, you get more volume, but you get way less taste. Now, what about 48 to $11.99? Well, now you have to figure that out on your own. There used to be a show in the early 80s called Trade-Offs on PBS. And it was all about each weekend was a scenario, or each week was a scenario, trade-offs. And it was about balancing wants and needs. And I watched it carefully. Hey, Ron, enjoy the decline. Hello to you. That is a good advice, so they keep watching all the way through. Right. Or they could just skip to it, which is what I do sometimes, which is what people do on my videos. I don't take offense. Do you track all score? No, because they got the pictures. Now we're at 3 seconds. The pictures and the you can put the score and look at it. Daniel doesn't like Japanese whiskey, for only American bourbon. Okay, my friend David talks about how he dislikes Japanese whiskey, and he was all, Bazam, look what I have. I said, I thought you hated Japanese whiskey. Yeah, but it was a good deal. I said, well, you're something else. Going to force Ron to stretch out this video like this morning. No, you're not. Smiling, crying face. That's why we love your reviews, no Ron, no filler, no bologna sandwiches. Hot sauce reviews might be a good concept. I've done those obliquely embedded in the videos. There's a lot of hot sauce reviews on YouTube, no joke. Thank y'all and have a good day. Off to watch the reviews.